Hey guys, Fjorme here, another video. Today, we're gonna go through my backstory and how I got to where I'm at today. And it's all gonna start with one little event. It was called Fragadelphia back in Pennsylvania, Philadelphia. So I got this hoodie from Fragadelphia. It was Fragadelphia 8, hosted by Nerd Street Gamers, a bunch of really cool guys. I was a big Counter-Strike fan, and what I ended up doing was getting involved in the Counter-Strike casting scene after playing professionally back in the early 2000s. I moved into the casting side of things, and this was my first in-person event that I ever did. I was so scared, so nervous. The guys down at Nerd Street did such a good job making me feel good, and to be honest with you, what ended up happening was that I casted for, I believe, 14, 15 hours straight the first night, getting through the big early stages of the tournament that they were doing. Man, I was tired by the end of that. The next day, they didn't have any need for me because, well, a very young Scrawny, the Counter-Strike 2 caster nowadays, was the person coming in to do one of his first events as well. So it was a really cool experience, being in person, meeting a whole bunch of players. I met Shazam, a whole bunch of great teams that I got to cast and talk about. And that gave me the bug. I wanted to do this for a living so bad. My next event was at PAX East in I believe it was 2018, might have been 2017. I did an event for Acer.
Yeah, let's start my head back in. Where is Keating? Oh, there's that pop flash. And aggressive now, moving around. They're right there. They're being a little slow, but giving away their position. Oh, I don't think he heard him. Looking underneath that under area, not gonna find him. Ooh. Oh!
I was so nervous. This was my first time being in front of a crowd. I actually threw up before the event out back. I was so absolutely nervous. But this is what set off my career. I went absolutely full tilt into it. And what really got me, H1Z1. That game pulled me in so much, and I became a big part of the community. I made friends with the casters, and being another caster, they had their own server where they hosted private scrims for the players, for the professional players to play in. So I said, hey, I can help you with that. They gave me access to the server, and I flew around shoutcasting these private scrims in these professional level pugs. And man, gosh, it was one of the coolest things ever. Just seeing all these players that I loved and talking about them and broadcasting it to my channel. It's how I grew most of my following. Well, from there, I ended up becoming such a good observer in that game that when the H1Z1 Pro League was happening out in Las Vegas, I got offered a position to work as an observer. So I flew, well, I'm sorry, I didn't fly to Vegas. I packed my van and drove to Vegas. It was a 4-day drive, one of the coolest experiences of my life. I got to Vegas and I started doing the observer training, working with the observer team, learning how we were going to do things. It was really fun. I was so excited. So day one of the Pro League, after all the rehearsals begin, the Summit 1G is supposed to be co-hosting with Jason Burns, Supersonic. Rich Campbell, who was the other caster signed up for the Pro League, wasn't available week one. Well, Summit said he wasn't feeling great from his flight, was very tired, so he asked not to do it. Well, luckily Shroud was there for week one as well. So Shroud and Jason go up to do a rehearsal, and at the end of that game, Jason says, that was a 25-minute game. I casted 24 minutes of it. Shroud doesn't know this game. You have Fjorme here, who knows the game in and out, has been casting it, and is great. So the director comes over and says, hey, I need you.
joined by Brian, aka The Real Fjorme, and we're going to be bringing you guys all the action here tonight.
I'm so excited to be here. What an amazing few days it has been watching this get built, ready to go. It has been crazy, and I cannot wait to watch these players play.
Yeah.
So let's talk about the outfit. It's the elephant in the room here. The pants were mine. The shirt wasn't mine. They went out and bought it for me, and the vest was a vest they had that did not fit me. I was also about 100 pounds bigger at the H1Z1 Pro League. So, yeah, I know. I get it. I looked like a waiter. I was ready to serve some commentary, I guess you could say. But regardless of how I looked and maybe how I felt, I was doing something I wanted to do. I was the host of the Week 1 Pro League for H1Z1. It was literally an amazing experience. It was my first time having a mic in my hand, a first time reading from a teleprompter as well. And I think I did a pretty good job, to be honest. Well, after H1Z1 and everything folded, I moved to Texas. And in Texas, I worked for a company called Mainline GG. Mainline GG. And there, I was their in-house caster. And I worked on something called PUBG Online. PUBG Online was a big PUBG tournament where a lot of the pro PUBG players that you know, or you may have heard of, they played in this. And so I got to spend a lot of time in that community, casting those games, hosting things. Mainline also did the Bilibili versus Clutch Gaming show event that was broadcast on Bilibili TV, as well as on Twitch. And I got to host that alongside with my friend Jonathan Miner. Jonathan Liner. I'm sorry, it's been a while, John, if you've watched this. So yeah, we get to do that. It was the first Riot sanctioned broadcast, not from a Riot produced entity. So it was a big honor. Unfortunately, things didn't quite work out. I had to move back to Vegas. I was laid off. They felt they did not need an in-house caster after PUBG Online Season 2 ended. So I moved back to Vegas. And that's where my life changed a lot. So I have all these badges behind me. You can see every single one of them. And we're going to take a closer look at them, and I'll tell you a little bit about each one. They're not all in order, so we'll jump in and out of order here. But let's take a look at all my badges. So we have all kinds of them. These are some smaller things. These are my actual going to PAX East badges. 2016, that was the Acer one. But look at all these. So Paramount, this one right here, TwitchCon this year, where you guys met me for ABI. This one was Comic-Con 2024. I hosted the Panasonic booth. TwitchCon last year, where I was working for Alienware, hosting at their booth. That was PAX West this year, where I was working for Samsung. That was a really fun event. That was a really cool one. That's Integrated Systems Europe's ISE. That was in Amsterdam back in 2020. Comic-Con 2023, where I hosted the Gaming Lounge. This one right here is going to be CES 2020, where I was working for Panasonic. I got to meet Michael Phelps. I've done a bunch of Dell Tech World this year. I worked, it activates the company I do a lot of my shows through. InVision is another subsidiary. I hosted with Alienware for this. These are all Alienware things that I did. Let's see here. This TwitchCon that I went to, I actually just went for one day. I didn't work at their booth, but I did just get a badge to get in. There's Comic-Con 2019, again, host of the Gaming Lounge. That was a fun one. This one here, blank, is another Dell Tech World. I think that was the first one, 2019, that I did for Alienware. This badge is for Esports Gaming World at the LA County Fair. I had a stage that I worked at the back. That was it again at 2022. That's a cool one. But we'll do this one right here. This is PAX East. This was me actually going to PAX East in 2018. It was the last PAX East that I've been to, actually. And then that was the 2017 Atlanta DreamHack, the H1Z1 Elite Series, where I met so many awesome people. Infocom 2019 for Panasonic. I hosted kind of an in-person gaming podcast. This was my first event after being let go from Mainline. I worked the NFL Pro Bowl. That was a really cool one. It wasn't a hosting gig, but it was a really fun event out in Orlando, in Florida. Right here, NAB show. This was the first thing I did for Activate Entertainment as a caster. D-Cave was in New York. That was a really fun one. That was right before, the big bad hit. So, I mean, there's so many, but this is the coolest one I have to show you. This one is from Stan Lee's SuperCon in Riyadh, Saudi Arabia. I have so many cool signatures on them. Mad Cat Shane. These are all players from the London Royal Ravens. OD, who's such an amazing guy. I looked up to him, the founder of Dignitas. Aaron Cahill, you see that big red right there, was actually the pink Power Ranger in, I believe it was Power Rangers Turbo. I met so many amazing people in Saudi Arabia. Not only were the people incredibly friendly and welcoming, the American dollar made so much over there. It went so far. I could get a full steak dinner with asparagus and a soda for like $10. I get to interview not only the London Royal Ravens, the pink and red Power Ranger from Power Rangers Turbo, the cast of American Pie with Shannon Elizabeth, the guy who played Kevin in Shermanator. I got to interview Dorian Gregory of Charmed fame. There was so much to take in. One of the most amazing experiences of my life that wouldn't have been possible if I didn't start doing this casting thing. So now I do cons. I go out to all kinds of different cons. You saw some of the cons there. And now my next one, today's going to be Tuesday. And on Thursday morning, I'm flying out to LA to do LA Comic-Con for Samsung. And I'm so pumped. I am ready. We're doing some Call of Duty Mobile. It's going to be a lot of fun to cast. We're going to give away all kinds of cool things. So if you're going to be in the LA area, come to Comic-Con, say hello at the Samsung booth. Maybe we can get you some prizes. But I'm going to have to get this one ended. Thank you guys for coming on this journey with me. I will catch you on the next one. Bye.